That is all me.
Hey, my love.
Okay, are we back? That should be me. I should be good now. I just connected to hotspot, so we should have no more interruptions.
Okay, well, no, I thought it was me too, girl. I got the same setup.
It's like sometimes it works really well, and then other times it just would give me the hardest time.
Right.
So I'm okay. I think we're here. We're good. Okay, perfect. Because it was a little lag between us the last time too. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, I've got you loud and clear. You good, girl.
Perfect. Okay, so this episode is called Let's Talk About Skincare. And you were the perfect person I wanted to do this with because you were my first esthetician when I moved to Middle Georgia. And I've seen you do like your skincare tips. And I see you do kind of a mixture of like the holistic approach and still using like, modern uses of beauty and just what estheticians normally use. So I was like, this is perfect. So first I want to thank you for always supporting me, because anytime I ask you, like, I'm having a pop-up shop, you show up and I'm like, I'm starting this YouTube. I really want you to do this segment. So just thank you for showing up. And I'm really excited about this and the tips. I think the girls are going to love this one.
No, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you to think about me because, I'm over here just being busy. But no, this is a great opportunity to kind of, in a laid back way, just really give some tips and some things that people know. So nothing too fruity. I clearly did not understand assignment. I'm over here.
Yes, you did. You're over there.
I am not dressed up.
It's your makeup. I'm like, dang, it took me like 10 hours.
You girl, this could be viral. They got
so good. And I'm gonna tell you, Olivia, when I was reading up your bio, why did I know you had children?
Oh yeah, I got 2 of them things, child. Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. And my mind, like so young and free, and just like, I'm like, Olivia, you have 2 kids. Where?
They remind me, 19 and 20. They remind me
that I have a 19-year-old.
Yes.
I believe you. I was like, what? I never knew that. I guess in my mind, when you meet people, you're like, everybody's my age. So I guess.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, you're gorgeous always. So I just wanted to introduce you briefly and just talk a little bit about your background, because some of it I want you to explain too. So was your start, you 13 years professional makeup industry. Right. It's called SFX makeup.
Right, special effects makeup. So, right.
Stuff you see on the movies.
Yeah, that was purely God, because I am scary. I do not even like that. But just doing makeup, you start branching out and kind of thinking outside the box and adding different things in. And that's what really got me into doing that. The creative process, there was no limit. You can do beauty and gore at the same time, or, minimal, or add, make the skin look like a skin condition even. So that was cool to me. And that's really where I got the basis for true aesthetic work as well.
Wow. I was like, I remember when after we first met you and we found out that's what you did, I was like, Olivia, how does one get into this? Like, how do you want to say, okay, I'm good at this, and this is something that I can really do? Because it was just the pictures on your page, like you have to scroll all the way down to see like some of your old stuff, but it's so cool. And so I'm like, I never knew that's kind of how your introduction into everything. So now, skin analyst, you specialize in PCOS. I'll let you describe to them what that is in just a second, because I hear it all the time, but it wasn't until now that I've actually, and I almost know like some of the tips of it because I look at skincare so often. But when I said, okay, I'm interviewing her, let me make sure I know what this is, I was like, I never knew. You should have saw me on Google. I was like, oh, this is what it stands for. So how long have you been an esthetician?
So I have been licensed and insured since 2018. So after I retired from the Air Force, that was 17, rolled right into doing aesthetic. So coming into the skincare portion actually was not the plan. It was to do special effects and go on to do film. But with my kids getting older, I wanted to stay around since I had been military and moved around before. I was like, okay, I got an opportunity to be still. Let's kind of get our skin nerd on. And that's really how skincare came to be, just because it's challenging, but it cannot be. It's beauty and it's also science as well. And that's what really kind of, gets into where you're trying to do things with the skin. So that's how it started.
Okay. So licensed in Georgia too. And one other thing I found fascinating that I noticed that you do, I didn't realize it was like a specialty, but am I pronouncing it right? It's called Reiki or Reiki?
Yes, Reiki. You said
Reiki
it right.
certified. And so that's where the merging of kind of like the holistic approach, and I've seen you do the crystals. So can you explain to us exactly what that is?
So Reiki is basically means energy force. So a lot of times people practice Reiki and they don't even realize it. If you walk into somewhere, you can feel like the energy, or you can tell somebody's angry or it shifts in energy. That is really you feeling a type of Reiki. Now, getting certified really gives you the ability to manipulate the energy so that it flows better, so that it also, if you want to align it with any intentions, you can as well. So just going back to me being military, really learning to decompress mentally, especially being an entrepreneur child, head goes 24 miles a night for the business, not even the physical brick and mortar, girl, you know how it is. So Reiki really helped me to like, okay, let me clear my mind, and that was a part of me elevating my self-care. So just putting that in, being able to use energy with intention and not let other energy influence me as well. So that's kind of why I paired it with my skincare practice, because holistically, if your energy is off, everything is kind of off. It's hard for you to take care of yourself. It's hard.
It really is. It's like your skin, like your hair, your everything, like
right.
One of those things where literally I feel like a lot of times you grow from the inside out. And so just seeing that, I was like, oh, that's what I saw with the crystals. And I was like, I love this. So let's get into it, because I have so many questions. So this is a selfish interview too, because I always
so bad. No, perfect.
Skin is so personal to me. And I know it's personal to a lot of women, especially a person who wears makeup. And I'm just one of those beauty girls. Like, I love to put on makeup, get my hair done. But I am also one of those people who the underneath matters to me too. Because while this is really, it's who I am, I'm just not a monolithic person. Like I'm different. I have different entities of who I am. And so like during the week, I'm a workout girl, like through and through. Like I work out, I eat healthy, I eat strict, I am hard on myself. And so I'm both girls. And so for me during the week, that's really important, because my makeup is not going to look good on the weekends or when I have an event if I'm not doing the work during the week. So like natural hair is important. Like that stuff is still really important to me too. And my skin is one of those things where it's always an uphill battle. Like I feel like I've never truly conquered it. And when I do, it's like, it'll be good for like 6 months, maybe to a year. And then I get down this new cycle. I feel like my body's changing, like my skin is changing. I remember having really dry skin. Now, my assistant tells me you have pretty normal skin. But then last summer I had to go to someone else and she was like, oh, you have oily skin. And I'm like, I don't know.
Confusion. Yes.
All of this. So I really want to get into some good things, some juicy things just about skin through and through. So for starters, I just want to talk about just the basics, like every day, day to day, what does a healthy skin regimen look like?
So for me, when I have a consult with my clients, I always tell them we try to keep it as simple, especially if it's somebody just starting to add self-care to their routine. Sometimes building that routine is the hardest thing to get through. But like I said, we keep it simple. So I normally tell my clients cleanse, tone, moisturize, and protect it or sunscreen it, depending on the time of day and stuff. So that at a nutshell, basic, get up, barely do anything with your day, those are the things that I always tell them to do. And then from there, once you get the basics down, you can add in, okay, I want to change this, or I'm getting a breakout here, instead of treating your whole face like it's got this big, like you have hard acne. A lot of people do that. They want me to come and throw hot acid in their face. And I'm like, well, let's, what are you using at home, child? So yeah, just making sure that those 4 things at least are at a minimum are there really is where I start all my clients.
So is that our night and morning routine? Should we be doing both of those, all 4 steps in morning and night?
Everything but the sunscreen. Sunscreen's for the day. That's just everything that you've done to your skin. Now you're putting a protective barrier on there so that the sun doesn't undo anything on it. Then at night, that's when you'll do any treatments if you want to make any changes to your skin. So you use like maybe a serum or adding
your serum, like your vitamin C maybe, or hyaluronic acid maybe. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so perfect. So that's just the basics. And I think that is really important that you said, like, you start everybody off. Let's just get you on a normal regimen. Like, because let me tell you something. I don't care, Olivia, through and through. I don't care if I've been drinking. I don't care if I get home at 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing my skincare routine.
Oh, dedication, yes.
My skincare routine. I'm so like my skin, because I know, and it's like me and one of my really close friends, like us and our skin, my skin gets so tricky. I feel like I'm one of those people. If I miss a day, something goes wrong. I had a breakout like 2 days later. And so I'm just very particular when it comes to that. So that is really important. But I want to touch on a step that you said, the step 4 for the daytime. Sunscreen. Okay. Let's get into it, because
let's bow our heads in prayer. Baby.
Lots of Black people think that we do not need sunscreen. So just 2 weeks ago, when I was thinking about having you on, I always thought I wanted to do a skincare segment, but it came about because about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was talking to a guy, and so I said, oh, I was like, the sun is out today. I put on a little dab of sunscreen this morning, not enough. And he says, sunscreen? And he was like, you wear sunscreen?
How about the ridicule?
You're supposed to, I think you're supposed to wear it every day. I'm pretty sure. So then he and I go back and forth, and I'm like, it's not just for white people. They're not the only skin that can burn. It's a lot of like skin cancer. It's so much, like the sun itself can be harmful.
That's so right.
Skin. And so, and he took the information and he was like, oh, I didn't know, So I'm bringing it up to 2 of my friend girls. And I was like, can you believe? I was like, I feel like I see it all the time. And so one of the girls goes, I didn't know you're supposed to wear sunscreen every day either.
That's how it
goes. Everybody knew this, because people like you who have these pages, like all these popular estheticians, it's like one of their number 1 rules, like make sure you're putting SPF or sunscreen on every day. And so I just thought it was common knowledge. So please, like, educate us on that and just talk to us about why wearing SPF every day is important.
So that is definitely the biggest misconception about Black skincare or any skincare of multi-ethnicity. Yes. That is the number 1 thing that you need to make sure that you are protecting your skin. Like you said, most Black people think, Black doesn't crack. We don't need that. We're melanated. Yeah. We don't need an additional protection, when actually that's incorrect. Just from studying and trying to put the nerd aspect in, anything in your body, making melanin requires an amount of energy. So the darker you are, the more energy you expand. So I tell my clients that, one, because you are more sensitive when you're a darker skin, and you can feel that skin, baby. That's why I'd be like, I'll be getting my rich white woman on. I ain't going out without a layer of at least SPF 30, especially if you're doing advanced work, like getting facials often. If you get any dermaplanes or peels, you want to put that sunscreen on, because that is going to really protect you from any burns or anything from your advanced treatment not going awry. So yeah, out of everything, I always lay out the number 1 product is sunscreen, definitely.
The sunscreen on your face. Like it's not
Yeah,
just
please.
it's not just for the beach, because we'll throw it on at the beach for sure. But we think that's the only time that our skin could possibly burn. So I'm glad that you cleared that up and you talked about it. Just talking about melanated skin as well. For us Black women, I just want first, because I know you're going to kind of give us the educational piece, but I just want to talk about hyperpigmentation, because it is very normal for us. But I guess I just want to know from a standpoint, like what causes it in your opinion, what can treat it? Because a side of me wants to be the girl that's like, we're Black, we should embrace those things. But I think it's like this European standard where we want our underarms to be light and we want our bikini lines to be white. And unfortunately for a lot of us, it's not. And so, just kind of tell us, just talk about hyperpigmentation, like where it comes from, and just like, what do you recommend to treat it?
So no, that is definitely a lot of my clients' number one, but either it's going to be breakout source of acne or hyperpigmentation, any dark spots that's left. So when it comes to hyperpigmentation, there's different levels to it, and the types of dark spots or pigmentation lets you know what's going on with the skin and whether it's something that you can prevent or whether it's something that might even be genetic if it's something that runs in your family. So when it comes to having breakouts and then afterwards, after people pick or things at their breakouts, that's called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, or PIH, how we call it. That's pretty much trauma to the skin. So a lot of clients will come in and be like, I ain't picking it. I'd be like, girl, I can see it.
I think that's what I know.
Where you pick. And a lot of times when clients pick, the pus or the bacteria doesn't just go out, it goes back into the skin. So you'll actually have a bigger area than where the breakout was itself, where the bacteria is in the skin as well, and your body's trying to fight it. So it'll be red, it'll be irritated sometimes. Yeah. So that's how you can tell, okay, girl, you've been picking right chair in your face.
Yes, because you see it. We're not the so we're like, no, I haven't. But you
okay, girl, all right, no. But that's just one way that you can tell. Also, pigmentation can come from, like I said, genetics. A lot of times people get melasma, they'll get it in their cheeks, or you'll see it almost like in a pattern on their forehead. And a lot of times that is either sun-induced from not wearing enough sun protection, or genetic, where that'll run in the maternal portion of their family. They'll all have that melasma. So another thing too that's definitely common with skin of color, you'll get the patches of Black skin that you were saying underneath the arms, on the back of the neck. That's kind of where I came in with holistic, because I was seeing the pattern and it will only be on one section of the skin. It wouldn't be all over. So people were trying to, treat it all over, whether they use like African black soap or whatever to try to dry out the skin condition, when really it's just something that's happening in a minimal area. So those areas on the back, typically, not always, can point to an insulin intolerance. So a lot of times when people have diabetes or things like that, even a hormonal dump, I see it with a lot of clients that have hormone thyroid issues too. Their lower half of their face will look darker, and the backs of their shoulders will be darker too from the pigmentation.
So what do you recommend for treating that as a professional? Because I'm asking that because guilty. I have a turmeric scrub. I have a scrub that has like turmeric, lemon, and everything that's supposed to help with it.
On the brighteners, yes, child.
And you see I think people use the apple cider vinegar. I think I'm guilty of doing that. Only on my underarms though, not on my bikini area. But I'm just a diehard turmeric user too. And I feel like consistently, when I do it consistently, I may see the difference, but it's never quite, it's never quite, that doesn't.
Yeah. A lot of times, little do-it-yourself things that you find, and I've been guilty of it beforehand, so I speak from experience, trying to come through where it's with African black soap or turmeric or even raw lemon, raw things. A lot of times when you find that you use those things on your skin, that type of acid in that form is not formulated to be absorbed well. So sometimes people will burn with the lemon, rubbing it directly on the skin, and you do it too often, that's pretty much over exfoliating your skin with citrus acid. So you'll get the dry, super dry areas where you still have the acne breakouts. You have the dark pigmentation, but then you'll also have this tightness because they're over dehydrating the skin, using apple cider vinegar, all those things. They work now because they take that initial, but it's with the consistent use of it, it overdoes the skin, and that's
your skin.
Right. And people a lot of times too, after they do things that are supposed to help with pigmentation, they do not hydrate their skin. So you have to get your skin in an environment where it's ready to do some change. It's kind of like going to your trainer and he's consistently working arms twice a day. You got to make sure you put that moisturizer on twice a day to affirm, hey, we're making this change.
Gotcha.
In Jesus' name.
You're prepping your body to actually do what you're trying to tell it to do.
Correct.
So is there a part, but let me ask you this, because I'm like, I feel like I've always had like these dark underarms. Is there a way to like permanently get rid of that? Or do you think it'll still always be a part of, just a part of our genetics?
Well, just depending on how you want to treat it. Like I said, a lot of times when it's things like underarms like that, it could be a myriad of reasons of why, the cause of that. But once you find out the cause, whether it's genetic or because you're over shaving the area and it's like removing the good skin cells that you want to remain on, and it's just like razor burn. A lot of times that's what that could be too. So I'll tell my clients to either change to sugaring or waxing, depending on if they're prone to ingrowns. If they are, then we'll recommend sugaring or take it to the next tier, laser. I'm saving all my good Black American coins for the laser, the hair removal, and it also works on the skin pigmentation at the same time.
That's what I want. Lasering.
Girl, that is what is next on the list for me. Definitely worth the coin.
For me, I'm like, I'm big on my waxes. That's going to be my next step. So my next question is, I saw this quote on your page that I love. And so I want you to talk a little bit about it. But on your page, it said, acne cannot be cured. It can only be controlled. And so if we get these acne bumps or we have these breakouts, because like if it's our cycle time, it may be hormonal or it could be a result of our diet. Like, what should we be doing at home to treat acne?
I always say when treating acne, you definitely want to find what the root cause is, because that's going to tell you what to use. It's going to tell you, okay, these supplements will help with this if I have a deficiency. Like I said, I work with a lot of clients that have skin conditions. So a lot of times the cause of their acne is because they have a liver deficiency or because they have hormonal issues, whether the estrogen's too low or anything like that, so on and so forth. So really once you hone in on what's going on with the skin, then you can treat it. A quick tip that I give all my clients, because you can use this whether you have $0 or all the dollars. The biggest thing with breakouts, when you see one, ice it. Do not try to squeeze it. Do not try to put all kinds of toothpaste and stuff on it, girl. An ice for the inflammation, and it also reduces that bacteria. I should have sent the picture before. Even when I came in today, like I said, with my PCOS, I have to manage my breakouts because unfortunately my hormones are all over the place. So I will get breakouts at any time. Sometimes it's like, unless I live like a straight and narrow vegan, nothing else type of diet. So I know that I still like to enjoy like certain things, certain fishes, seafoods. So I make sure that supplements really help for my deficiencies to make up for that. Some people don't believe in that, but that's why I'll, refer clients out to dermatologists if they want to. But really, at home, whatever you put in your mouth affects your skin. And a lot of times,
good health is important. It is so important. It is so important. I am a firm believer in that wholeheartedly. Like my skin, I thought I was going to have to change my entire skincare because I was like, oh, I've been using Clinique. It's worked for me for the past 2 years. My skin has just started severely breaking out again. And it was right around the time that I started changing my diet. And when I tell you about 4 to 5 weeks in, I was like, oh, the Clinique must still be working. Maybe I was just going through a breakout. I was like, but no, it wasn't. It's your eating. Like your gut health is going to be the most important. It's going to impact your skin the most, I would say. But I do want to touch on something you just talked about because you got to run me back. So ice and not toothpaste because I think I still been using toothpaste.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying over everybody else. What we've been told is if you do the toothpaste, it brings it to a head so you can pop it.
Yes, so there's almost a little bit of truth because before when toothpaste were fortified, that's what the legend says. You put it on there, then it'll draw the bacteria out very quickly, and then the pimple be gone. You can go on about your life. But also now with them adding in things with certain toothpaste, that'll actually burn the skin sometimes. Like I said, ice is number one. But if you if you want something a little bit more, I like to recommend to my clients, especially if they have sensitive skin, a sulfur. Okay. Or anything bentonite clay, like what you used to use in the hair on the face.
You just add
on the breakout, just a little bit on the breakout.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful because I don't know. I feel like I still been using the toothpaste remedy, and now I need to go to ice. I'm completely fine with ice. Okay, I just didn't know. So we're having a conversation because that's helpful. So we've talked a little bit about natural skincare remedies. And you incorporate both. It sounds like it's not completely holistic. Like you still believe in the modern approach too. But you touched on this a little bit because you said a lot of times when you do at-home remedies, it's like we don't really know what we're doing. So what are your opinions on just natural remedies as a whole? Like where do you stand with a holistic approach to skin in general?
Holistically, I stand for them. And I say that because a lot of times, especially in order for me to get comfortable with being an esthetician, I literally had to go down to the ingredients and how it's used, how it's extracted. So a lot of times people would be like, no, don't use this for this. However, when it comes to certain ailments, with me being holistic, yes, sometimes I'm going to sip some ginger if I got my allergies or if I'm feeling something, because that's how I was raised.
Exactly.
Like anti-inflammatory properties and other things as well. I drink a lot of teas, and I believe in that those as well because they'll help internally for things like when you have breakouts, any hormones, stress, stuff like that as well. So I am an advocate for definitely using it in a proper form, but I don't see anything wrong. Like I said, I use tinctures here. I'd have teas. I do all the things because that even essential oils, what you put in the air, I have that here because that affects how skin behaves because it, again, with the nervous system and de-stressing and all that, that's why I like having, my practice here because you can combine all those elements so that they help the skin and overall well-being.
Anytime I've come to GA, it does always smell so good. It's one of those, it's just zen. But I guess when you think about going to get facials or anything, you think it's supposed to feel like that. But I'm just like, now that you keep saying that about like oils and stuff, I'm like, yeah, because I always wanted to ask you, I'm like, what is she putting in here? Like, it smells so good. But you're right. Like, I feel like my energy is always aligned anytime I've come to you because of that. So all of that is really important. I just always wonder, especially with the TikTok trends now, it's like we see a lot of this, go and get turmeric powder, water, and like the Aztec clay, and just put it on your skin. And I have the beautiful skin in the world. And so with this generation of information that TikTok is going so quickly, we're like, she has skin I like, let me get what she got and just go to it. And sometimes, a lot of times it's natural. Like they're like, oh, these are natural products.
Right.
I don't think people are taking into account like your skin is different, like it may react different to certain products. And so I just always wonder where people like you who are actually professionals and kind of not just on TikTok doing it for fun, like here's this trick to get clear skin. I always wonder where y'all stand with like, because the natural ingredients are important, but I don't know. Some things get trendy and I'm like, and it seems like it's something I should try. I'm like, oh, I need to get my hyperpigmentation under control. That sounds good. Like let me just worth the try. It's natural, right?
Right.
So I like to hear your approach on that too. It's just that you're coming from more of an educational standpoint. So it's like, yeah, the natural I'm all on board. It's healthy, but you have to know how to use the right products for whatever you're treating. So I guess just speaking on that, I feel like when we go to the grocery store and we try to shop naturally, it can be a little expensive. I'm just not. And I guess I have the luxury of not being one of those people, but I am willing to invest in my skin. I always have been. Like, I'm going to pay it. But I want your opinion. Like, why do you think people or women, can't even touch on men. That's a whole nother topic. Definitely not for skincare routines. It's soap and water for a lot of them. But for women, like, why do you think women feel like it's a luxury to take care of your skin? Because in my opinion, it's a necessity. Like it's your skin. So from your standpoint, of people that come to you, because I know you have people that come and it's like their first time getting a facial.
Right.
And just why do you think that people think like it's just so wildly expensive, or it's like they're looking at it like a luxury?
Some people look at facials like the iPhone and they feel like it's a lifestyle. And so that's kind of like the mind frame of it, especially if you get clients that don't wear a lot of makeup. They really, don't do a lot of that attention in that area of their self-care. That's just not anything that's important to them. So really educating, that's kind of why I slid into that, like I said, holistically as well, because it is a form of self-care. Some people don't see it as that, but that's even doing the skincare. People be like, oh, I got to do that shit twice a day. God, what? That is expensive.
That's a lot. And I'm like,
but you brush your teeth every day, though.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
It is, though. That's why it takes that consistency, and even building that healthy habit is hard for people because, again, even though it seems like something that is a basic need, for some people taking care of themselves, they don't do it. They don't take care of themselves. I don't need to do that. Or, I got to go and do this. I get home, I go to sleep, I wake up, I just go. So really they haven't added it into where, okay, this is an integral portion of my day. Yeah. I'm going to take care of myself because this might be the only time I really get to get myself together. And a lot of people think that skincare takes a long time too, baby. I'm in there for maybe 3-4 minutes. Yeah.
Especially if I'm tired. Especially if I'm tired. I'm like, it's gonna get done. I pick my times where I take time to really focus on my skin throughout the week because I don't always want to rush it. But I guess you're right. I think you're right. So especially if you don't have troubled skin, I don't know if people just necessarily think it's just such a luxury. They just don't want to deal with the time and money and effort that it takes. But in my mind, I'm like, but it's your skin. Like it's you and it's all its glory and beauty, and it's how you have to wake up every day, and it's just the investment. But a lot of times when I tell people, I'm like, if you can't, because like I love dermabrasions, dermaplaning, and all that, so I'm far gone. But if you just want a flash facial, like a lot of y'all do affordable facials, like $50 and $60 facials, and I'm like, you can really get one a month. But when I tell that to a lot of people, men and women, they're surprised. And I'm just like, it's not. I don't know why we think that like these things are unattainable or they just seem like such a luxury. But I'm just like, come on, man, $50. Like we spend that on seafood. Like I watch you eat out every day. Like you're spending $50 easily in 2 days. So just taking the once a month to go to an esthetician, a professional, to get a facial is not as luxury as you think, And so
people have certain ideas of what a spa is in their head as well, which is why I kind of moved to Skin Studio, because it lets you know, okay, we're not just doing basic facials, we're doing a little bit something progressive, but there are levels to the spa things. So when you say spa to the average person, they think in bathrobes, walking around, massage, everything on site. So that is a standard classic European type of spa.
Yeah.
Then it's really educating the client, like, okay, no, this is for those that have maybe some issues where you've seen a dermatologist, where you're having issues with really building a good routine with your skin. You've tried certain stuff, you might get some results and not. So really you're looking to elevate your self-care because either you've plateaued or you're looking to make some changes to your skin. So really it depends on where people are with their skin, like I said, kind of journey.
You have to sit down.
Right.
Yeah, because that's true. Because you remember when I was dating this guy a few years ago. You remember I booked him an appointment with you. I was like, "Girl, he's never got a facial. Like, you got to take care of your skin." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you got to go to Olivia. Let me book this appointment." And so it's like, but that was his first experience, and he was like, "I can do that once a month. Like, that was nice. Like, my skin feels good." Like, he learned a lot, and so I was just like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think you're right. We have a certain idea of what a spa and what skincare looks like and how much it should cost. And now, don't get me wrong, like some products can be very expensive. Like it can be. The more luxury you get into it, but there are still a lot of brands, and I'm sure you recommend them all the time on your page. Like, it's like, here, if you can afford this brand, here's a brand, and here's an alternative that you can get from Sephora or something. Right. You can't really afford this one. And so I think just actually knowing that it's products out there, both low budget and high end, that can fit your skincare needs is really important. And why we need people like you educating us just on it, because it's just the education thing. So also too, I want you to talk about, because you've touched on it a few times, but I kind of want you to talk about it in depth a little bit, just so I can understand, because I read about it a little bit, but just for understanding, you talked about PCOS. Can you tell us what that is and how it affects our skin?
So PCOS is polycystic ovary syndrome, and that's pretty much a skin condition, and it also goes internal to where a lot of women experience it, where they have infrequent menstrual cycles. Also, they're prone to cysts in their uterus, and also they'll have other indicators like maybe the hair growth on the skin, or you'll see breakouts just in the lower portion of the face. So I was introduced to this for myself. When I first started to get the breakouts, I was noticing that, okay, they came, I couldn't, clock when they would come because I didn't have a frequent menstrual. So I didn't even put it together at the time. Okay, I have some hormonal going on, things like that. So a lot of times it goes undiagnosed. And a lot of people think that infertility, things of that nature could be stemmed from that PCOS. So really it's something that happens to 1 in every 10 women of childbearing age. So it's something that's actually quite popular. And then for myself, just coming into my skin practice, I started to notice a trend where I was seeing the same thing that I seen on my face with other women. And I started asking, do you have any hormonal issues? You don't have to tell me, They're like, yeah, that's when I started finding out more and more Black women were suffering from some type of hormonal disorder, or something even like PCOS.
Wow. So who diagnoses you with PCOS?
That's going to be your primary care manager, or even if you have a OBGYN. A lot of times too, they might refer you out to endocrinologists if you don't fit the other required areas to diagnose with PCOS. But they'll send you to an endocrinologist to really look at your hormone levels, to see how your thyroid's producing, your liver, and all that, just to verify how the PCOS is affecting your body.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And you said during childbearing years are the times where that's something that we need to really look out for in our bodies and pay attention to. And so some of the symptoms, I think I heard you correctly. You said maybe like irregular menstrual cycles. What else? Like what other, like how would I know to see if I need to get checked for this?
A lot of times, another way that it manifests on the skin is if you look, and you've probably seen women that have some type of hormonal imbalance where it's called hirsutism, or the hair growth on the face is elevated. And that's because PCOS also alters the estrogen levels. They lower, so the testosterone goes up. So you'll see people that have just on the lower half of their face where it'll be the hair is heavier in those areas, or they'll have the mustache. Even the breakouts, they'll be prone to ingrown hairs, and you'll see those sometimes they'll suffer from that as well. And then also cystic. Not only will you be prone to cysts in your uterus, also you will experience cystic acne on your face on the lower half as well. And that's the type where it doesn't have any pus in it, but it's under the skin, and they're pretty painful, and you can feel the lump on those. So you definitely want to look out and see how long those cystic acne last for, because if it's longer than a month, you definitely want to go and get the opinion of a dermatologist.
Okay. And then, okay, so what is used to treat PCOS?
So PCOS, kind of like any type of acne, is really managed. They have ways where you can get on hormone therapy, like birth control, take certain prescriptions called like spirolactone that helps with some of the hair growth, and also helps to balance your hormone levels out. But a lot of my clients want to be holistic, so they do not want to be on any prescriptions. So managing PCOS is definitely an inside job, just like any type of skincare regimen, where you really want to make sure that you're eating enough, you're getting enough antioxidants in. But a lot of times, the number one supplement I recommend for my clients that have hormonal or PCOS is a zinc or magnesium. Okay. Adding that in is an anti-inflammatory. So you've probably seen that sea moss, elderberry, that trifecta is good for lowering that anti-inflammatory. So even for the clients that aren't on any birth control, that'll help with reducing the breakouts.
I don't even know. I don't know what it is with me and sea moss, but I'm gonna tell you this: I'm gonna have my teaspoon, my spoon of sea moss every morning. Every morning.
Yes, it works.
I don't know what
it works.
I forget sometimes what it even does for your body, but I just know it's the healthy thing to do. So I order it, and I'm like, so to hear you say it, I'm like, okay, see, I'm on the right track with this thing. So, okay, so I'm ready. I'm in the mindset of I'm going to get my skin on track. I'm going to have a healthy skincare regimen. I've listened to your steps. Can you just give us 3 tips, like 3 things that you think are really important for us to maintain healthy skin? Like, just what is it for us, especially women of color? What are 3 things that you just swear by at home that's going to work for me, even if it's, one test, whatever your tips would be? What is just 3 things that you recommend to me as a beginner in the self-care, the self-skin space? I want to take care of my own skin.
Definitely your hydration intake, inside and out. A lot of times when my clients come in, I can tell they're dehydrated, not because they're drinking, but because they're not properly moisturizing their skin. Okay. You'll be able to tell, like I said, black people, we're supposed to be supple. Skin's supposed to feel really good, not like leather. That is the skin. While black doesn't crack, it does tan or leather. So when it starts to get tight like that, that's when you'll see this oily skin overproduce oil, or the drier skin start to look like almost the texture will be really, really rugged on the skin. And that's when you know that they lack that hydration, that moisturizer.
Yeah. Okay. So what else? So we're going to hydrate our skin, and that's really your hydration is going to come from, even though drinking water is important, please drink your water. That's going to be from actually moisturizing your skin, and we're moisturizing our skin daily, twice a day. Right.
Whatever you put in, you do it on the outside too. So you're reinforcing to your body. Okay. Take this change, girl. We hydrated, girl. Get it inside out. Can't do it. Same with vitamins. That's my second one. Vitamin C is number one. All women of color. It helps for so many reasons. It's good for brightening the skin. It's a good hydrator, so it draws in moisture as well. So I tell my clients, if you're going to add a vitamin C, have it be in a serum. Add it after you tone your skin, but before you moisturize, so you lock in those vitamins in your skin. But yeah, I love vitamin C. That's the joint. Love it in any way, shape, or form.
Is there a vitamin C that you recommend? Because I have one, but I just ordered one from Amazon. So
did you know? Because I'm going to put my things up here. I have some here at the spa online. I've got a vitamin C complex blend, so it actually has things like retinols and peptides in there too, so it's a big boy vitamin C. But I also recommend more of a budget friendly that you can get at Ulta as well, so I'll give you those informations.
Okay, perfect. So I'll drop those when the video comes. I will drop the vitamin C because we need to include those in our skincare regimen, and we're going to do it after the toner and before our moisturizer.
Yes.
Okay, because you know what? I will tell you this. I was doing it wrong. And do you know the only reason I knew I was putting my serums on after my moisturizer was literally like on Instagram or TikTok or something. This girl was like, make sure. And so if I had seen that, I would have probably just learned it today. So yes, y'all, if you're using, because I think I was, my skin I started drying in my T-zone. And so I had to start using a hyaluronic acid. And so when I was putting it on after the moisturizer. I was like, it just made sense.
Yeah, no, the skin is ready. That's when you're going to treat your skin, because you pretty much cleanse it off, prepped it to take something. Now you put that something on. That's with the serum. That's where the magic happened. So that's what you're telling your skin. We are vitamin C'd up, moisturizer to reaffirm what we're doing. And then a lot of times people mix up serums and oils. So that's why they'll put the serum on after moisturizer.
Can you clarify that for us really quick, please? Like, what is the difference?
So serums are exactly what I said. They do the work. So when you're having a routine, whether you want to brighten or even if you want to help work on pigmentation, your type of serum day or night is going to be the workhorse. Okay. Oils really help to seal in or retain. You remember, like for hair, they say the lock method, the liquid oil cream. So for skincare, almost the same thing applies, but oils seal in everything. So they really are good. That's when you see people walking out looking like glazed, baby, like Christmas hams. Yes, I like a good oil. You could use.
Me too. Okay, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's different types of oils you can use that they are budget friendly. You can get them as long as you know what form. Like rosehip oil is my jam, 100%.
What's it called?
Pressed rosehip oil, not rose oil. Rosehip oil.
Rosehip oil. Okay, I have heard of rosehip oil. Okay,
yeah.
So do I apply
that's the secret everybody don't want to say, but to get that. Whew, and I like to use it too because a lot of my clients have allergies or they get the pollen on the skin and it'll get itchy during that time. Rosehip helps to alleviate any of those types of effects that you're having from that. So rosehip, magic.
Perfect, rosehip. Okay, so and so let's say we get the rosehip oil. Do we apply the oils after the moisturizer then, or do we apply them before we do the serum?
Oils after the moisturizer.
Gotcha.
That's what you're feeling in, pretty much making like that barrier. Okay. And you got to give it like at least 5 minutes because you're gonna be looking, glossy.
Give me some. Okay. I love a good new product, and I've heard of rosehip oil, but I'm just like, but the fact that you swear by it is making me go, okay. Okay. So before we wrap up, I just have one or two questions that I don't know if they're direct answers or not, but so if it's two things I want to talk about: dry and oily skin. Is there a specific area or step of your skincare routine that you should focus on if you have one or the other? So if I have dry skin, do I focus on my serums more? And if I have oily skin, do I really focus on making sure I'm cleansed more? Or like, is there a certain treatment for either or?
So yeah, just depending what you want to work on, you can start from your cleanser on. So I normally tell my oilier skin clients or clients that are battling oily with acne, let's make sure that you have a double cleanse. When at night, you're going to have your first cleanse. That's kind of what we use when we remove makeup, get that off. Something gentle to break the sunscreen barrier. And then your second cleanse is actually where you bring in you like AHAs or BHAs, or like lactic acids, things that kind of help with hydration. Or if you want to use anything that goes beneath the skin for oily clients, which will be like a salicylic or mandelic acid based type cleansers. And you can add it in anywhere else. The main thing is, even if you use a serum that's an acne clearing serum, you want to make sure to hydrate on top of it, because those tend to be drying. So a lot of times, a big misconception with oily skin is that it does not need to be moisturized, and it does. It will overproduce oil when you are oily skin and dehydrated. That's the biggest confusion with my clients that come in that have breakouts.
Because I'm guilty of feeling that way prior. Like I'm like, I don't want to put anything on my skin because it's already going to be so oily. Like I definitely don't want to oil. I definitely don't want serums on it because it's already just super oily. And I feel like it will make me more oily. And so I just never knew, like, just keep the process. Like you got to trust the process and use the right products.
Right.
Treating your skin completely wrong.
Right, because remember, when you're treating your skin, that's something temporary. Once you've treated it, then you're not going to use it anymore. You'll still have your regular routine. So when you get the breakout, you're going to treat it and then give it away. Okay, it left a dark spot. All right, I'm going to use that serum and then leave it alone. So things when you want to make change, you don't want to keep. And that's another thing that a lot of clients do. They'll be like, oh, I over exfoliate because I wanted to keep using it. I keep using it, and now you've overstressed your skin. So keep the thing supple.
Exactly. Okay, I know I said that was the last one, but hold on, I have one more because we did not touch on this yet, and this is my biggest problem. Because you just talked about it, exfoliating. How many times should we be exfoliating a week?
So it does depend on skin condition and skin type. So skin types: oily, dry, normal. I normally tell my drier skins to make sure that you're exfoliating and masking at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
For my oily skin, if you're battling with any breakouts, I'll tell you to use not a scrub, but a different type, that second cleanse with your AHA, BHA in there. Use that 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how your skin processes it. If it's too much, then you want to fall back. If you start to notice you get dry patches, like you said, around the nose or in certain areas, to kind of hold back. But that's definitely helps when you're getting breakouts, the pus ones, or if you experience ingrown hairs, that you want to make sure that you're exfoliating so it doesn't get infected or, start to make a lesion in the area where that is infected.
I'm one of those people. Me exfoliating at home, it just does not work for me. And now that you said that, I'm like, I don't think I've gotten a good recommendations on it because I'm trying to use scrubs on my skin and it always feels too harsh.
Like it's too much. Yeah, I definitely. Girl, I do not like that, especially if you have breakouts. A lot of my clients come in there and be like, "Girl, I'm sensitive. Now, why do we want to scrub the face? No, girl, we're doing more harm than help with that." But like I said, there are different types of exfoliators. Even here in the treatment room, my first time clients, I use a fruit enzyme to where it actually, in layman's terms, eats the dead skin so that it's not abrasive. Because sometimes it's too much. Yeah, some people be at home trying to really power saw their face. Wait a minute, no.
Scrubs and stuff, and I couldn't. I was like, it's too harsh on my skin. So now that you're saying that, I'm like, you know what? You're right. You have to. It's just all an educational thing. You just have to know how to treat it because you're right. Like I thought exfoliating literally just meant I'm removing these dead cells, and the only way I can do that is literally through a harsh scrub. So I'm like, you have to actually scrub to loosen up whatever it is, but I just never, because especially with bikini area, you're using the scrub to loosen up for ingrowns. But now I'm realizing, now that we're talking, that it's too harsh on my face because you can't treat your face how you treat your skin on other parts of your body sometimes. Yes. And I had to learn that. And so now that you're saying that, I'm like, so that may work for my bikini area, but not a scrub for my face. Okay.
Right.
Well, that's
and I like scrubs on the body, definitely. That's why a lot of people too. That's another reason to be investing in your skincare, because you treat your skin that gets all the sun, all the exposure. You put all, we get dolled up, put our makeup on, take it off. It takes a beating compared to the rest of the body that's mainly covered up. So you can do a cute, little salt scrub and stuff, but for your face, it could be too much.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, this is so helpful. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we have to do a part 2. We have to, because I really have so many questions. And I know what my goal is once these start to release. We'll get questions just from everybody else, thinking whether they want to know more of, and hopefully we could just really do a part 2, just follow up questions and just see if, did everybody at least follow the first steps that you gave, our first 4 steps.
Yeah.
Getting your
down, definitely.
routine.
Let me know.
So before we log off, I have everyone end with what I call an end tip. And an end tip is just something, a piece of advice for someone, a quote maybe that you live by, or just something that keeps you inspired, that keeps you going, or like maybe it's something that somebody told you a long time ago that you never forgot and you just kind of really hold true. So what is your end tip?
Everything with intention. Everything with intention. Everything with intention. Everything with a purpose. Everything will align when every step you take, everything you do, even when you don't know what to do, I surrender with intention because I'm going to receive something back. Just having that mind frame has been a game changer, especially as an entrepreneur, because you can get lost with trying to do something. But every time I have to come back to self and be like, what is my why? What am I doing here? What is my goal?
I love that. Everything with intention. Well, Olivia, thank you so much again for joining me on this episode of Let's Talk Skincare. It was so good to see you. It was so good to chat for you. And we will speak soon.
Thank you.